from an astrological standpoint, I think Chiron plays a huge role because Chiron is the wounded healer, and through our wound, we are able to stay in touch with suffering so that we're not in these ivory towers of remote feeling and, as a result, sort of remote socialization or our relationship to the social experience. So anyway, Michael Moore was down there. Yesterday, Cornell West was down there, and you saw that on the live feed. So you can go to my website, and you can actually go to the live feed and punch it in and check it out. Also, right next to the live feed is a kind of an ongoing scroll in text, and there's a lot happening there, and you can text your own thoughts and feelings. So I'll give you an example as to kind of what the breakdown of or how the whole thing sort of operates, right? So in the center of this square, right in the middle of Wall Street, occupational Wall Street, in the center of the square, there's kind of an area that's maybe about a 10 by 15 sort of squarish kind of rectangular space that's open, and the rest of that is surrounded by people. It's not a circle per se. It's kind of, again, it's more in the shape of a square, which is kind of interesting, right? It's rooted, it's grounded. It's Wall Street, Foursquare. So in there, you'll have people that are talking, and they'll be presenting something, or will be giving kind of a sermon on money or social responsibility or whatever that is. And they would say, I believe that it's in everybody's best interest to share their resources, no matter how much or how little they have. And then everybody around him would repeat that. And they would say, I believe that would be everybody's best interest to share their resources, no matter how much or how little they have. So everybody would say that, and that the message then goes out through the crowd. So here's how this happened. People were sharing their experience or their story or their speech or whatever, and what they would do is they would have these like agents provocateurs or CIA guys or whatever, right? Whoever was there. And they would shout them down. They would shout the speakers down off topic, or they were creating chaos. So what happened was that they figured out that if they could repeat what was being said, then it would take care of those guys. That they couldn't talk over the top, and that they were really on topic, right? And not only that, but it would carry throughout the entire crowd. So that's going on. That's going on pretty much all the time, right? Then kind of off to the side, they've got this whole drumming thing going on. They've got drummers that are kind of pounding out this rhythm the whole time. People come, people take breaks. It's an amazing kind of vibe, right? When they started off, they just had jars of peanut butter. Now they've got a full-blown kitchen. And it's a real event when the hot dog vendors show up. So there's about 4 or 5 hot dog carts all around there, right? So now it's become legitimate. And so this is actually a very interesting and I think very powerful moment for the United States of America, because the world has already been doing this. I mean, this has been going on for the last year and a half in places like Greece and Italy and Spain. This has all been happening there because they've been hit with austerity measures, and Greece is going to get another round of them. I mean, they're just literally hacking away at the Grecian economy and the Grecian infrastructure and their future, and they continue to do that. So one of the things that was crossing my mind as I was going through Robert Bruce's latest book, which is Energy Work, The Secrets of Healing and Spiritual Growth, was how could we incorporate this idea of being in a public place and this and broadcasting our voice, our feelings, and our intentions into the world, and how could we incorporate that with the use of subtle energy? And I thought it was a very interesting concept. You know, it's sort of like the non-dual and the dual perspective, right? The non-dual being this, you know, sort of formless ocean of consciousness, which is eternal, it's infinite, it's never changing. And then the dual being this, you know, this dynamic that's worked out in this plane of existence, and we struggle and we push, you know, we exert and we surrender. You know, how do we bring those two worlds together? In a moment like that, maybe there's a way when we can apply these subtle energy techniques to a moment of public protest, or maybe not. But we'll find out. And what I'd like to do is I'd like to bring on the man who might be able to help us understand those dynamics even more. We're talking live from Australia. It's Robert Bruce. Hello, Robert.
Hello.
Hey, how are you?
Oh, you can hear me. Great.
Yeah, I can hear you. You know, Skype can be a little tinny, so I'm going to tell my listeners to kind of turn their volume up because you're a little on the low side, and I promise that when you speak, I'll be incredibly quiet here so we can get the most out of your volume. How are you today?
Great, thank you. Coming in through loud and clear. I've got a pile of telephones on my lap. I was trying to call you from multiple areas.
Well, I'm glad you were able to make the connection, and I want to thank you for taking time out for being here. We got a live audience. We got people in the chat room. I might go in there a little bit later and try to ask them a few questions or see if they have any questions for you. And, of course, this will be available on podcast. So, again, thanks for joining the show. And so I guess my first question to you, Robert, first of all, I got to say this. I went to your Wikipedia page. And on the first line, it says an English-born mystic. And I thought to myself, that's a great title, English-born mystic. So how does it feel to be an English-born mystic?
Well, I was 10 years old when my parents emigrated. So apart from 10 years in England, I was raised in Australia.
And where were you born in England?
I was born in Surrey, a little town called F.A.R.
Mm-hmm. And when you were a child, did you have any distinct impressions of subtle energy or any of the types of subtle fields that you ultimately began working with? I mean, when did that start to creep into your consciousness?
Well, that didn't creep in that way. I started having out-of-body experiences when I was about probably 4 years of age.
Mm-hmm.
And I literally just one night, I was about 4 years of age, best my memory can do, I started to buzz from head to toe, and I just buzzed out of my body. And I was moved through the house, feet first, like I was taking my bed with me, and moved down the stairs into the house, and that was my first OBE. And I had several that night. Mm-hmm. But the interesting thing, a few months before, or maybe a week before, as best my memory can do, I had a series of experiences where I was paralyzed in bed, and I experienced this vibration. Now, it's not the same vibration you get with out-of-body experience. This was a higher-pitched, buzzing, humming type vibration that set my teeth on edge. You know the type of feeling you get when you bite into aluminum, foil, or paper?
Absolutely, yep.
It kind of puts a shiver up, an uncomfortable shiver up and down your spine. Well, this was that type of vibration, and I would be paralyzed, and I had many experiences like that. Now, the last time I had this one before I had my first OB, which is shortly before it, I was scared, of course. I was only 4, little lad. And I managed to turn around, even though I was physically totally paralyzed, as happens when you're having OB-type experiences, astral projection. I now know I turned around in my second body, in my effort body. My physical body didn't actually move. But I turned around and looked, because above my head, when these experiences happened, there was a bright light coming from above my head just to the right, behind me. And I turned around and looked. And what I saw was there was a ball of light about the size of a basketball, which was humming with this intense bright light and fluctuating. And sitting next to that was a large ET, which looked like a human-sized praying mantis with a big triangular head and big eyes. And as I looked at it, I was a little lad, I was scared, but, you know, I was doing it.
This is your classic insectoid, sort of extraterrestrial.
Yeah, definitely an alien, an extraterrestrial.
Yeah.
And
okay.
And I looked at it, and within 2 seconds, it noticed I was looking at it, and it looked at me, and it touched the ball, and I blanked out. Now, I had dinner with Whitney Strieber and his wife Anne last year, lovely people, and they've had a lot to do with ETs. And Anne explained that that was a typical grey, even though it had a body like a praying mantis. It had, like, you know, double-jointed little legs like an insect. Mm-hmm. And you know, that started, and now shortly after that, I had my first OBE. And jumping forward many, many years until a few years ago, I went to the Monroe Institute a year before I gave a 5-day workshop there. And one of their trainers there, Maureen Cordell, has become a dear friend of mine now. Took me for a mini gateway for a few hours, and the first time I experienced hemisync, which is the binaural beat audio that the Monroe Institute produce. And as soon as I put the headphones on, I'd never used it before, I'd never had to. Mm-hmm. I recognized it. This was similar, not the same, but very similar, the way it made me feel, to what this ET was playing to me through that ball of light. And my whole body was like fizzing. And I can only, you know, logically, this ET altered me for some reason, somehow, using some kind of advanced hemisync type technology. And right. Then I started having OBEs. I had hundreds of OBEs, thousands of them, all through my younger years.
So, okay, so here you are. You're 4 years old. You're leaving your body. You're, you know, experiencing grays that are, you know, sort of mantis-like. Are you sharing this with your parents, your friends? I mean, what's going on in your head at that time? And was it accepted? Was it poo-pooed? I mean, what was happening then?
Well, I was 4. I mean, I told my mother, and Mother sort of patted me on the head and gave me a piece of cake. You know how it goes.
Yeah.
It's sort of normal. And over the years, and I had thousands of OBEs, and it was like really, really natural. And I tell my mum about that. My mother had spiritual interests. She was a spiritualist, and so she didn't put any pressure on me. She didn't say I'm mad or anything like that. So that was a blessing on its own, because I didn't get any preconceived notions, you know, that it was a really bad thing to do.
Right.
I always got the impression she never really believed me. You know, I had a big imagination, she would say, and give me more cake.
Give you more cake. But yeah, there you go.
Later, when I got over the weight problem.
Is there any history of alien contact in your family besides yourself?
Not at that time. If years later, when I was about probably about 31, which is a couple of decades back now, my mother and I were both. We used to visit once a week, and we continued this for 15 years. We used to drive down to a friend of our place who's an old English medium called Selena Wickham.